On the high end, we have our andily unit right here, topping out at a whopping 228 degrees Fahrenheit. It literally started to melt the plastic cover on my thermometer. Hey everyone, David with Chef Media Group here. Today in this video, we're going to be comparing 4 different space heaters from 3 different brands. We did purchase these products ourselves, and any opinion expressed in this video is strictly our own. That being said, if you're interested in any of the products you see here, the links will be in the video description. So, we got 4 1500 watt ceramic space heaters. First up, let's go ahead and check out the controls for each unit. So all the controls are very similar to each other. First up, we have our Lasko unit right here. You can see we have our 3 different settings. So we have off, we have fan, we have 1 and 2. 2 is going to be 1500 watts, 1 is going to be 750 watts. And then we can adjust the temperature further right here with our nice temperature control knob. Next up, you can see we have the GiveBest 1500 watt heater right here. Same thing, so we have our temperature control knob, a nice thermostat. And then we have our fan setting, 1 and 2. Same thing, it's gonna be 750 watts and 1500 watts. Next up, you can see we have our andily unit right here. And guess what? Same controls. We have our thermostat and our temperature adjustments. And then you can see we have our 3 settings. So fan, 1 and 2. And same thing, we have 1500 watts and 750 watts for 1. Last but not least, we have our additional andily unit right here. And this one has the same thermostat controls. We can adjust the temperature, but this one actually has 4 different modes. So we have our fan, we have our 2, our 3, and our eco. So 2 is going to be 750 watts, 3 is going to be 1500 watts, and this eco energy efficient mode is going to be 1000 watts. Now you can see the units up close from the front, so check it out. They all look very similar. The GiveBest unit is going to be our largest unit in regards to width and height, followed by our andily unit, then our Lasko unit, and then we have our smallest unit, which is our other andily heater. Pay attention to the metal grating. So they all have metal grating. You can see we have slightly different color variations, a silver, more of a gray, and then we have 2 different blacks. These 3 units all have circular grating, where this one has more of your diamond shape grating right there. Here's a look at all the heaters from the back. So we have our Lasko unit right here. You can see we have a grip handle on the back. Then you can see our GiveBest unit. We don't have a grip handle on the back, but we still have that grip handle up top. Then we have our andily unit, and you can see we have a grip handle on the back. And then we have our additional andily unit right here. This has a grip handle on the back and one from the top. And you can see the air intake and the fans for each one. They all have integrated power cords. You may notice for the andily units, they're off to the left-hand side if you're looking at the back, whereas our GiveBest and our Lasko are integrated at the center. Now we're gonna look at the units from the bottom. So first up, you can see our Lasko unit right here. Very flush and flat bottom, 2 different color tones with the plastic housing. You may notice there is no tip switch with this unit. We'll come back to that later. Next up, you can see our GiveBest unit right here. So check out the nice flat bottom. We have our 4 feet, and we do have our anti-tip switch. Next up, we have our andily unit. Same thing, 4 feet, nice flat bottom, and we have an anti-tip switch. And lastly, we have our second andily unit right here. Same thing, 4 feet, nice flat bottom, and we have another anti-tip switch. So in regards to the design, as you can see between all 4 of these units, they're very similar to each other. The difference really comes down to handle placement. Does it have a handle just on the back? Does it have a handle up top and on the back? Or does it just have a handle up top? That's really what it's going to come down to with the design. And obviously the footprint a little bit. Do you want a smaller one or a slightly larger unit? Other than that, be sure to consider the safety features. I highly recommend getting one that does have this switch. That's going to be a crucial safety feature that you don't want to overlook. Now let's go ahead, let's talk about performance. So the first thing we tested between all 4 devices was how loud they were. So with our decibel meter, we got a max decibel readout of 76 for our Lasko unit, and we got 73 for our andily unit, and they are in order from quietest to loudest in regards to max decibels. Both of these in the middle came in at 76 decibels. Now, with that being said, typically, all 3 of these ran around 60 or 65 decibels. I believe our GiveBest ran usually closer to 65, where these 2 ran closer to 60. And ironically, the Lasko unit came in around 55 as our average, even though it peaked the loudest at 77 decibels. So They're all very close to each other, and I would say it's kind of just a wash. They're really not too loud or obnoxious, whatever one you choose. Now I have them ranked according to maximum heat that we were able to generate out of each unit. So on the low end, we have our Lasko unit right here at 162 degrees Fahrenheit. On the high end, we have our andily unit right here, topping out at a whopping 228 degrees Fahrenheit. It literally started to melt the plastic cover on my thermometer, so that is super impressive. Andily seems to really have and push out the highest heat, because next up we have 218 degrees Fahrenheit for our second andily unit, followed by 169 degrees Fahrenheit for our GiveBest unit. So you can see these two are in that 160 range, maybe peaking at 170, where these two are closer to 220 and beyond, which is really impressive. They all throw out a lot of heat, but the andily units seem to reign supreme. So now you might be wondering, well, which space heater should you get? And I'm glad you guys asked. So at the time of this video, the price difference between these 6 heaters was only $6. So keep that in mind too. They're all very similar in price. So that being said, our top choice hands down is this andily unit right here. The price to performance ratio is top notch. It generates a ton of heat and it's a great value. It's very simple to use and it still has important safety features built in. The runner-up is also this andily unit. It's $6 more, but I would say this should be your top choice if you're looking for a very portable space heater. They're all super portable, but this one has this nice built-in handle. So for $6, you might appreciate having that handle long-term if you're lugging this to your car or office or whatever you plan to do with the heater. That's going to be a worthwhile upgrade. And as a bonus, you pick up an additional setting up here. None of the other units have that setting, so it's really cool that we have that option with here. So for $6 more, you pick up a better handle and you pick up an additional setting for heat if that's of importance to you. Why we rated the other two so low is just because of how good of a job these ones do generating heat. They're just as loud, if not quieter, than these two, and they offer more features. So these two are identical in price, but you can see our GiveBest unit's a little bit bigger and bulkier, and it doesn't have that additional option for our heat settings right here. So if this one was a couple dollars cheaper, we might have pushed you that way. And then honestly, for the Lasko unit, we don't feel comfortable recommending this unit because it doesn't have any sort of safety feature on the bottom in the event that this would tip over. So with that being said, that's a deal breaker for us. And honestly, it comes down to just the value that's there for these two heaters. Why not pay the exact same price for these two heaters and get all the great features than to buy these two?